So I'm just going to talk through how I created this soft pink glam look on Tabitha. I'm actually just starting with the eyes, as I usually do, and I'm carving out the brows first. I like the arch to be like nice and crisp and quite sharp. Then I do like to fluff that base into the front of the brow, just where it's a little bit fluffier, so it's a little bit softer. And then I'm starting to define the eyes a little bit with a darker cream product. So this is kind of like my first transition eyeshadow product. So I'm using the Jossa and Be Perfect palette. This is like so good for neutrals, and I'm just using this to kind of define Tabitha's outer V. She's got really nice kind of like almond shaped eyes anyway, so I'm not doing too much to them. I'm just defining this a little bit so that when we put the pink in, it's just going to pop that a little bit more. So for the pink, I'm first kind of like prepping the lid with some blank canvas from P. Louise, and then I'm mixing this with a pink base as well, just to give us that like really nice kind of pastely pink shade. And then this is just going to mean that what we put on top is going to pop. And of course I'm using the Dior Rosy Glow as like an eyeshadow, so I've just popped this all over where we placed that before, and then blended it out right onto like the sides of her nose, and blended that in with the neutrals as well. So then for eyeliner, I'm using Illamasqua brow gel in the shade Strike. I use this for like most of my brown liner looks just because it's such a pretty colour, but I'm just popping a little bit more of the eyeshadow palette on top of that as well to fluff it out. So as you can see, for skin, I'm prepping it with the Skin Dew from Vive, which is just like amazing right now. It's like one of my favourite products. And then I'm just going over with a warmer concealer just to colour correct any areas where there's slightly darker pigmentation on Tabitha's skin, just to even out her full skin tone. And then I'm popping the foundation on top. I can't remember all the products I use right now, but I'll list it down below. So for concealer, I like to apply a lighter one right in the centre, and then I like to blend it with one maybe like a couple shades darker, just so that you've got that like nice transition and it's not like too light to dark. And then I'm just adding a little bit of warmth back into the skin, and I'm using the Sosu cream contour products. I think this is in the shade Dark. Then to set the face, I'm using the Set and Brighten Powder by Jordana Tisha. I use the shades Caramel and Half Baked for this, but I go on about these all the time. They are the best setting powders ever. You need them if you haven't tried them already. So I decided I didn't want to leave it matte, so I'm going to apply a little bit of shimmer. So I'm using the Doll Beauty Pigment Popper, and then I'm also using the pink pigment from Doll Beauty. Again, I'll list it below. And then I'm just bronzing. I'm using the Holly Boom bronzer here. Can't remember the exact shade name, but I'll also pop that below. And then for brows, I already brushed them up with Refi, so I'm just popping Thunder by Illamasqua on them. So for blush, I'm using the Rosy Glow by Dior, and then I'm just highlighting the brow bone. For highlight as well, I use the Be Perfect Polar Vortex in Atmosphere. It has like a wee pinky undertone, which is really pretty. So I'm using this Dew Mist here from Eternal Youth. It just like melts all the powders into the skin to make the skin look more like skin. Before lining the lips, and I'm using a Kylie Cosmetics lipstick here in the shade Candy K. And I used a fluffy brush to buff this in because I still wanted her natural lips to kind of show through it, so that it was looking just like a little pink flush. And then the gloss I used on top was Outshine by Lottie London, and also Fenty Gloss Bomb. And that is the finished look. If you guys have any questions at all, let me know, and thanks for watching. Bye.